I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch network. We are seeing the impact of the MAGA takeover of the Republican Party, not just at the destruction of the Republican Party at the federal level, but also at the state level. State Republican parties, now MAGA Republican parties, built on the image of Donald Trump, are going bankrupt, not just morally bankrupt, but fiscally bankrupt. You look at states like Michigan and Arizona. The Republican Party, once a very proud party in these states, are like completely broke. They've run out of money. They've spent their money fighting election conspiracy related lawsuits in 2020, paying legal fees to defend leaders like Kelly Ward and others who spread the big lie, who tried to overthrow free and fair elections, supporting Donald Trump conspiracies. They've wasted all of their money on things like that rather than the objectives and purposes of what the Republican Party in these states are supposed to do. And in addition to going bankrupt, we're seeing internal fighting within the Republican Party and the various states, Republican parties. And I'm not just talking about like verbal fighting. We're talking about physical altercations that are being reported fairly frequently, where Republicans are physically engaged in fist fighting with Republicans. Take this incident that occurred over this past weekend in Clare, Michigan, at the Doherty Hotel there, where a Republican who visited had this interaction with a Republican committee member, and one accused the other of kicking him in the balls. The other, literally, that's what they said. He kicked me in the balls. The other Republican said he broke my ribs, and it was the whole altercation. I want to read for you what went down there. But look, we're talking about, look at Michigan. Who's running the Michigan Republican Party? You've got Christina Caramo is the chair of the Michigan Republican Party. This is someone who makes these videos of herself where she talks about how she sees these visions of possums being eaten by bald eagles, and that somehow tells her that the globalist regime needs to be stopped and things like that. You've got Kelly Ward, who used to run the Arizona Republican Party. She used to be the chair there. She's the one who squandered all of their money. She's the one who at that Trump rally in Arizona said, "We are the Orange Mafia. Who here is Ultra MAGA? We are Ultra MAGA." Just weird, dangerous, extreme stuff like that. And again, it combines with the incompetence, the financial mismanagement, just the failure to dot I's, cross T's, or even just do the most basic functions of running an organization. Here's the article from The Independent. I'm going to show you those clips of Kelly Ward and Christina Caramo in a little bit. Okay. Violent brawl breaks out at Michigan GOP committee meeting. Tensions stemming from budget questions boiled over committee meeting. And by budget questions, they are broke. The Michigan Republican Party is broke. Here's what it says. Tensions boiled over within the Michigan Republican Party on Saturday, resulting in an altercation at a hotel, which the police were called. The GOP state committee came together for a meeting at the Doherty Hotel in Clare, Michigan, as members have been feuding over the party's direction and the leadership approach of the new chairwoman, Christina Caramo. The Detroit News reports. Shout out to the Detroit News. Shout out to local journalists. Some Michigan Republicans arriving at the venue on Saturday were frustrated to find the meeting was limited only to members of the state committee and was taking place behind a locked door. In an interview with the Detroit News, James Chapman, a Republican from Wayne County, said he traveled to Clare for the meeting but was forced to listen to it through a locked door. Mr. Chapman said he and others said the Pledge of Allegiance together in the lobby outside the meeting, after which he jiggled the doorknob of the meeting room. It was then that Mark DeYoung, chairman of the Clare County Republican Party, approached the door, saw someone flip him off through a small window, and opened it. Quote, He kicked me in my balls as soon as I opened the door, Mr. DeYoung said, adding that Mr. Chapman ran at him and slammed him into a chair. Mr. DeYoung gave his account to the outlet over the phone from an emergency room where he said he was being treated for a broken rib. For his part, Mr. Chapman alleges that Mr. DeYoung had swung at him and said, quote, "I'll kick your ass." Mr. DeYoung denies this happened. Continuing, Chapman says he removed his glasses, took Mr. DeYoung by the legs, and knocked him down. Quote, "When you see me taking off my glasses, I'm ready to rock," Chapman said. Multiple police officers were at the scene after the scuffle, and Mr. DeYoung said he intended to press charges against Mr. Chapman. Quote, "We're so divided," Mr. DeYoung said from the hospital. "I just wish we could come together." And then it goes on to say that there's been a lot of other fights. Multiple fights. This is also not the first internal time tensions have erupted. As the Washington Post reported in June, at least 4 county parties in Washington have been at open war with themselves, with members suing one another or putting forward competing slates that claim to be in charge. The night before an April state party meeting, 2 other GOP officials got into a physical altercation in a hotel bar over an attempt to expel members. So I have that footage here. Let me show you just a clip of that. Here, play some of that clip.
Let's talk about Macomb County and all.
You're all going to jail. You're all going to go down. All of you are going down. You're so fucking get the fuck out of here. By the power vested in me. By the power vested in me. By the power vested in me.
Are you an attorney?
By the power vested in me. You are no longer a delegate. Is that what you said? By the power vested in me. You're no longer a delegate.
Get your cigarette out of here.
Give him a call.
Get your cigarette.
Now we got a problem. Now we got a problem.
She just fucking.
Now we got a problem. Move along. Move along. Move along.
You have to leave. Right now. This door. Right now. No, I'm
Modern day Republican Party, folks. The article goes on to say other tensions stem from criticism of Christina Caramo, who became the chairwoman of the Michigan Republican Party in February, for not providing more information about fundraising and spending. The Washington Post also reported that she has struggled to raise money and abandoned the party's longtime headquarters. Caramo had recently removed Matt Johnson, the Budget Committee chairman, citing, quote, dereliction of duty and several other grievances. Mr. Johnson had said spending was, quote, so far out of proportion with income as to put us on a path to bankruptcy. So in other words, the head of the finances of the Republican Party in Michigan was saying, we're running out of money. We have to be more responsible because we're about to go bankrupt. And the chair of the Michigan Republican Party then fired him. Exactly in the image of Donald Trump. And here's the thing. You turn to Arizona. 4 years ago, the Arizona Republican Party had close to $770,000 on hand. Now it had less than $50,000 in cash reserves as of March 31st. And a Salon article talks about astonishing low cash. Trump election lies leave swing state Republicans effectively broke. And it again goes on to explain how Arizona's Republican Party had less than $50,000 on hand compared to the same time 4 years ago, where it had $770,000 on hand. Michigan had $116,000 on hand as of March 31, although I think it's far less now, down from nearly $867,000 it had 2 years ago. Quote, they are effectively broke, and I don't see the clouds parting and the sun coming out on their fundraising abilities. The modern day MAGA Republican Party in these swing states. And so just when you know who's running this is who was previously running the Arizona GOP. This is Kelly Ward. And just to be clear, this isn't like some random person. You know how like the MAGA Republicans want to find some like random person who is not anything to do with like democratic politics at all. They try to find someone who even knows who political party they are, just like a random person, and they're like, look at what they're doing, and tries to make that like symbolic, as though, who is this person? But this is the head, the number one person of the Arizona Republican Party. She was, at least. This is Kelly Ward saying, "We are ultra MAGA." Play the clip.
Hey, stand up if you're ultra MAGA! Ultra MAGA! Woo! Hey, I'm a proud member of the Orange Mafia!
Okay, now this is the number one person in the Michigan Republican Party, the top person. She runs the Michigan Republican Party. They elected her to do this. She won. This is the person who represents the great state of Michigan in the Republican Party. Play this clip of Christina Caramo where she talks about eagles eating possums and globalists. You play this clip.
So I was taking my walk this morning and look what I run across. A vulture eating a possum. And as soon as I saw that, you know what I thought about? Us, the American people, as the possum, and the vulture is the globalist political left. And the sad part about it is most people don't realize it because they distract you with a bunch of little stupid stuff like, look at that misogyny, look at that homophobia, look at that racism, the poor people, we're going to help you all. So people are like, oh, they're for the little guys and I'm little, so they're going to help me. It's a distraction. It is a ruse. They're trying to set up a globalist system with one economic, one religious, and one political system for us all to adhere to, and America is in the way. That is why they hate Donald Trump so much. He's getting in the way of their agenda. And they use these foolish little celebrities to sell it to you guys that, don't you care about people to stop guns? What is the Second Amendment for? You really trust governments that much to not kill us? Quit being naive. Stalin, Mao, Hitler, okay, Fidel Castro, Che Guevara. Governments have done atrocious things to their people. Are you that naive to think it could never happen here?
Folks, Lindsey Graham has pretty much said everything wrong. But the one thing that he did say, which was accurate, is he said, look, you make Trump your nominee of the Republican Party, you're going to kill the Republican Party. And he's right. It's done. The Republican Party is now the MAGA Republican Party. You got the Christina Caramos, the Kelly Wards, the Jim Jordans, the Marjorie Taylor Greens, the Lauren Boeberts. That is who the party is. Far too extreme for the American people. Far too, beyond extreme. And ultimately, in addition to the fascism, in addition to the hate, in addition to the lies, in addition to the gaslighting, they lack competence. They can't operate things. They want to lecture us on fiscal conservatism, fiscally conservative. They're broke. They're always broke. They don't know what they're doing. They can't run things. They're incompetent people who cannot be making life and death decisions for us. Period. Full stop. I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. Hit subscribe. We're on our way to 1.5 million subscribers thanks to your support. Check us out at patreon.com/MeidasTouch. Wherever you get audio podcasts, subscribe to the MeidasTouch podcast and have a great day.
Hey Midas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram at MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.